Fumika Mizuno, congratulations
Thank you so much.
on the scholarship, being a scholarship recipient this year in 2017. Doors have been opening for you since you were a kid, and I imagine they'll continue to open as you start your studies at Princeton, but we'll get to that in just a bit. I want to start with what first attracted you to music, and what kind of music you listened to. What do you recall, and how old were you when you first were aware that this is music?
Mm-hmm. Well, growing up, both of my parents are classical music lovers, so we've always had the classical station playing in the car. We've always had CDs, classical CDs playing, and both of my parents have always taught me to appreciate classical music. And my mom had me start violin lessons when I was 4. So kind of when I realized things, I already had a violin in my hands and I was already playing. And I think the very first time I thought classical music was really fun was when my parents played Zigeunerweisen, this piece called Zigeunerweisen. And it's kind of a sexy gypsy piece. And when it started playing, I started dancing. And I thought, wow, classical music is fun. So I think ever since then, I've never stopped loving classical music.
And violin, of course, came at your mother's urging, I would imagine?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think when I first started, it was always my mom encouraging me to practice. But I think after just a couple years, I really enjoyed going to my lessons. I enjoyed being with my friends who also performed. And
so it wasn't isolating, like you're
definitely not.
On a summer day, you have to be practicing for 45 minutes at least, and your friends are out there.
No, I don't
throwing
think
the ball around.
I don't think I ever saw it that way because it was always something fun for me. It was always kind of like playing. Like it wasn't a chore. It was always something enjoyable. And when I started to join ensembles and orchestras, I started to create really, really meaningful friendships. So it was also kind of a social thing as well.
Yeah.
So I never felt like
which
I was
takes
missing
out that piece
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
feeling of missing out, the FOMO thing. How many hours a day do you feel that you need to be with your instrument?
It definitely depends on the day. Sometimes I'll put in several hours, but sometimes I won't be feeling it, so I won't force myself to perform or play more than I need to.
Which violinist do you look up to and use as a role model for yourself? I imagine that changes and shifts.
Mm-hmm.
You always have new discoveries, but name a few and why.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm a huge fan of a violinist named Ray Chen. He's a young violinist, and I really admire the way he uses social media to reach out to people who aren't as familiar with classical music, and he makes it more approachable, I think. And I think he really makes classical music accessible to everyone, which I really admire.
And your favorite composers and pieces, you mentioned the gypsy violin, but suggest a few that maybe we can turn our ears to as well, that are in your ears.
I love French music. I love Debussy, I love Ravel. I think I prefer symphonic pieces over solo pieces. I adore Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky and everything.
You're
so
talking my
pieces.
language. You haven't said anything yet, and I'm a pianist, so they do great. They compose, their pieces for piano are amazing, everybody that you mentioned. Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, in high school, I played racquetball. I actually love racket sports in general. I played tennis as well.
Have to watch out for your hands.
Yeah, I get told that a lot. But yeah, I really enjoy reading as well. And yeah.
Reading is always good. Any favorite writers?
I really love dystopian fiction. What am I reading right now?
Gibson? William Gibson?
Really.
Oh, okay. We'll edit that out.
No, yes, please. Right now, I'm reading Kafka right now.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that is dystopian. It's that time.
Yeah.
We're in that dystopian time. Hopes for Princeton.
Princeton, I definitely will be continuing performing music. I'd like to join the orchestra and perform chamber music as well. And I'd like to continue taking lessons. And what I really love about the location of Princeton is it's just an hour's train ride away from New York City. And New York City is just a hub of music and culture. And I think it'll be really great to just go on a weekend trip to New York.
You could bring your violin and play on the street or the park, anywhere.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, and go to Lincoln Center. It's amazing for music. I totally agree. And for your future career, any thoughts on what that might look like? I mean, you're only now stepping off into the learning curves, the next learning curves, but thoughts?
It's always a really hard question because I'm not sure yet.
You don't
but
have to be.
I'm really interested in social sciences and political science and journalism, but I'm hoping that music will definitely be part of the equation in my future.
Fumika, so great to hear all the visions that you've had already and thoughts and hopes for your future. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
Much continued success.
Thank you.